Don't you wanna stay? Have a glass of lemonade. Talking business, chilling in the shade.
Welcome to Baddies with Business. I'm your host, Malliron Hodge. This season, season 8, we are talking to a few of our incredible speakers that you can expect to see at the 2026 Baddies with Business retreat. Learn and grow as we talk about how being a baddie and business go hand in hand. Enjoy. Welcome back, Baddie community. It is Malliron, your host of the Baddies with Business podcast. And I'm so excited for you all to go with us on a journey in season 8 of the podcast. We have a special season lined up because we are focused on showcasing our incredible speakers that will be sharing their talents, their wisdom, and their skills at our upcoming Baddies with Business Retreat and Community Bazaar in Denver, Colorado, June 26th through the 28th. So without further ado, I know you don't want to hear from me. I'm going to turn it over to our first guest. So, Averri, can you share a little bit more about yourself, your journey, and we'll talk more about your business soon. But just share a little bit more for our community.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Wow, season 8, congrats. I'm so happy and honored to be one of the kickoff guests for your season 8. A little bit about me, I don't even know where to begin. I'm like all over the place because I love to travel. I love to experience life. I love to give back. And then also, we were talking a little bit earlier, former pageant girl, but it's so funny the many facets of life that I've been in a short, brief time. But excited to be here and talk more about what's coming in store for both of us.
Yes, I love all the travel, pageants. It's incredible. Yeah, we were laughing about what it means to be prepared, practicing for, responding to questions and all of those things when you are on stage and everyone's looking at you. So just honored to have you. Where's your favorite place that you have traveled? I know you said travel is something you enjoy.
Okay, I can't just list one.
Okay.
But so Italy, hands down. Portugal, I feel like I could live there. And I would say Cuba because I was dancing in the middle of this Cuban restaurant and it was so fun.
Okay. I love that. Yes, Italy is great. I went to Italy this year, and it was incredible. Well, I guess by the time that listeners listen, it will be last year. But, I had a chance to go to Florence and Rome and Venice and Chef's Kiss.
Yes, those are all
Gorgeous.
the places I went to. Florence was my favorite.
Yeah, I like Florence. It's like off the beaten path and you get to explore and roam around. So that's incredible. Okay, Baddies. We're getting to it. I know I can sense it. You all like, let's get to it. Let's learn more about Averri. So Averri, you are the systems strategist. And when I hear systems strategist, I hear about systems, I hear about strategy, and I know there's so much more that is baked into that. And also I know that you have this incredible background. So if you could share a little bit more about the catalyst for you starting your business and also kind of giving yourself that title around your expertise of being a system strategist.
Very good question. So I'll have to take it back to childhood. I grew up watching my mom have various entrepreneurial ventures. The most important thing I saw is if she did not want to work a job, she was like, I'm out of here. I quit and maybe didn't have a plan. I don't suggest that, but that was the foundation to me saying, okay, one day I'm going to be the person who says, I don't have to ask for permission to go on vacation or ask for permission to go to the restroom or a break during my job. Yes, I've had jobs. We'll get more into that later, I'm sure. But I just knew one day that entrepreneurship was something that I would pursue. And so did I go to school for business? Not at all. I went to school for political science. Well, originally fashion design, but I couldn't draw. Don't ask. That's another story. But I changed my major to political science, even went to get my master's in public administration, worked in the government for a little while. And while I was doing that, I had various entrepreneurial ventures. And it wasn't until 2019 that I found my true calling, which is now Black Women Moguls. And there's a story beyond that because in 2010, and when I was at school at Clark Atlanta, I was doing website design. I was like, how can I turn this from a hobby to a business? And so fast forward, Black Women Moguls, and here we are today. And I've just had my hands in entrepreneurship ever since childhood, like I said, really since the age of 3.
I love that. Also, HBCU grad. Let's
Yes.
go. Come on, HBCUs. Okay, I love an HBCU. I went to Winston-Salem State University. So around here, we love an HBCU down. That's no shade to anybody else, but we love an HBCU down. Okay. And I love that you shared that you have been in this space of entrepreneurship through your mom, and also noticing where there's moments when she's like, I'm not feeling this. I'm going to dip out. And I think the confidence in that, but also that like audacity to be like, no, this is not serving me. I'm going to leave. I think we have been conditioned to think that you have to just stay in environments and they will change, as opposed to no, sometimes in those environments, you have to be the change and
Mhm,
leave. So I appreciate you naming just like that journey, what you observed. And also it's starting from a young age. I also think about with myself when I think back, entrepreneurship was very prevalent in my life because my dad, he was a farmer and we had like hogs and tobacco and all these things. And at that time, I'm just like, yes, the farm. But when I think back on it, it's like that was entrepreneurship. That was
mhm.
him, to your point, making a choice for his family, for his community to do something and make his own schedule and move and navigate in the way that he wants to. So I appreciate you shining a light on, you noticing it and your mom being that mentor, and also now reflecting that it's always been in your blood. It's been
Mhm.
there from the
Always
beginning.
gonna happen one way or another.
Yes. So what prompted you while you had it that was like part of your journey?
Mhm.
What exactly do you do like within your business? So as a system strategist, like what are those systems that you're helping entrepreneurs or organizations build?
Funny story. So I did not start out as a system strategist. I fell into it. And the reason why I fell into it is noticing in my own business there were gaps and inefficiencies that was making like the business was growing, but it was like, okay, things are falling through the cracks. I'm missing opportunities. I'm missing meetings. There's things that I need to do, but it's not getting done. And so, me figuring out those gaps in my own business, I was like, oh, this is actually something I enjoy doing. And then I realized that this is often the last thing that people think about when it comes to their own business. So, I always started off with it doesn't have to be overwhelming, at least get that first process in place. Because more than likely, you're doing marketing, you have to pay some of your subscriptions, your bills. Those all entail processes. And so, even if you're a solopreneur right now, maybe you're going to have a team in the future or a virtual assistant who will take care of those things. So, it's better to get that written out on paper now. And then you can identify what could be automated. And then you can also pass it on to someone else. So, that's basically what I do for individuals. Help them identify any inefficiencies, help them identify if they even have a sales funnel. That's a whole Pandora's box, making sure that they have like a lead magnet or something that they can utilize to nurture their audience.
Hmm. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of juicy things, and I imagine the followers are like, I don't know what that is, but I need it. And so when you are working with your customers or with clients, like what is the moment that they come to you? Is it they already have identified that they don't have a sales funnel, or is it they come to you because there's some other problem or need and you kind of dissect and figure out the root cause is you don't have a sales funnel? Like how would someone know that they need your support?
Well, two different ways. First, it starts off with education. So it's not a taboo it's becoming less of a taboo subject because people are talking more and more, but a lot of people don't know they need systems until they fall into it. So if we can detect it early and with education, and so I post a lot of content around that, people are like, okay, yes, this is something I need. Number two, it is okay, so they'll see some of the things I do and they'll be like, I don't know exactly what this is, but I want to talk to you more about it. And so that's where I come in and identify through an audit or something or a consultation, do you have this in place? I'll just ask them a series of questions that diagnoses the problem. And they're like, no, I don't have this in place, but tell me more. And so that's how it started. So I try to take a preventative method and educate, but some people are like, ooh, I didn't know I needed this.
I love that approach because what I feel like I've seen in the last couple of years, especially like around 2020 when everyone had a mastermind and everyone was becoming a coach and everyone was telling you all the things that you need to do. You know who those people are. We have seen them. a lot of those individuals were starting from this place of like, this is something you need. And so trying to get people to come to them as opposed to meeting them where they are. And what it sounds like you do is someone may be curious, they may have a question, but you meet them where they are from the educational standpoint, and then you guide them to the place that they want to be. Not the place you want them to be, but the place they're hoping to be. And so I really love that approach. And I know it's valued in the industry, but in the world as it relates to your clients, because that comes from a place of empathy, a place of care, a place of community, and also a place that is steering away from shame. You're not shaming them for the things they don't know. You're actually educating them because they might feel real confident, say, you know what, Avery told me this, and you also need to.
It happens. I just get so surprised by people who like. There was someone who tagged me in a post the other day. Someone you've been following all year, and they tagged me. I was like, me? Oh, thank you. And she was a former client of mine too. So I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I am
Yeah.
making an impact.
That is amazing. Okay. While we are on this, like this impact that you're making, this makes me think about celebrations. So, what are 3 things that you want to celebrate about the business that you have built?
Ooh, goodness gracious. Where do I even start? Okay, so I will say one, even though I've had this business since 2019, I just celebrated a year of full-time entrepreneurship in November. I can survive on my own. Number two, I just welcomed 2 new team members. And going back to that capacity standpoint and inefficiencies, if I had continued in the manner of which I was doing for my business, I would have been the bottleneck because I can't deliver clients work and then do the marketing and everything. So I realized I needed to free up my time even more, even though I have automation. So bringing on 2 team members, that's a celebration in itself. And then 3, good question. I'm gonna say recognizing when I need to change things in the business because when we see things not working, sometimes we'll stick with something and say, no, we're going to make this work instead of adapting to, what actually should work instead. So I would say I'm working on in during the break, I'm taking 2 weeks off. I'm going to be thinking about strategically how I want 2026 to go, even though I have a plan, but think about how things need to be tweaked a little bit. So yeah, number 3, adapting.
I love that. So, being in business, making that decision of like adapting and adjusting, and also just like following your heart and
Mhm,
taking that time to rest. So, those
mhm.
are all incredible. And as you are taking this 2 weeks of your break, preparing for the new year, I hope you also incorporate more moments to celebrate you, to toast up to all the incredible things that you've done. And I imagine those incredible accolades that are coming from your clients as
Oh
well.
yes, I always have shenanigans up my sleeve.
Yes, I love it. Speaking of shenanigans, this makes me think of the retreat because shenanigans will be had, but also there is a day before we get into the shenanigans at that evening on Saturday of our retreat. This is all about our workshops, and I'm excited for this year's workshop layout because they are based on tracks. And some of you may be like, Malliron, I heard you talk about it. What is that? So the tracks are 4 different tracks and they're based on the stage that you are in for your business. So there's ones for those who are starting out very early stage. There's for those who have kind of been in the game, but they're still early. There's one for those who are like, okay, now I'm starting to turn the corner to that 4 to 5. And then there's ones for those who are 5 plus. We have been in the game for a while and we're thinking about a pivot. And so you are going to be doing a session during our flourishing, which is kind of our second chunk, which is for those who are in years 2 to 3 ish. And so your topic is transforming your brand into a 24/7 sales machine. Okay. So could you share a little bit more about how you arrived at this topic and what the baddies who are in that flourishing business track can expect during your session?
Yes, thank you for this question. So, with this topic, transforming your brand into a 24/7 sales machine, it's basically talking about no matter what level of business you are, how you can have your system's flowing for you even when you're sleeping. So I'll give the example of how I was in Miami for my birthday earlier this year. So I had to cheat a little bit. I had to do something and check my email, but for the most part, I completely went off grid. I was able to enjoy myself and my birthday, but that was only due to system. So while I was enjoying my birthday on the beach, people were still able to book time with me. People were able to absorb my content, and the lead kept the leads piping hot, had automated emails. So I'll be teaching how you can do that in your own business very simply, because yes, it can be overwhelming, but just take it step by step and you'll be able to arrive at least your first process automation. So I say processes and systems are an evolution, not a destination. Rome wasn't built in a day. I know cliche, but it's the truth. So that's what I'll be teaching in my workshop.
Wonderful. Okay. So I imagine that there are baddies that are not in that kind of flourishing 2 to 3-ish. So will you also be offering any type of pamphlet or informational for the baddies if they are not in the flourishing track, but they want to still like connect with you throughout the weekend? Have you thought about if you're going to be offering anything for them?
Yes, I have tons of resources in my arsenal. And so I will definitely be sharing a guide where, again, if you are not in that flourishing track, I like to start at square one, because you never know. I've seen people establish in business 5+ years and they don't have this in place. So I like to start at the
Mhm.
very beginning and then take you, I don't like to say A to Z because there's always a and,
Yeah.
but A to Z and then some.
Mhm. Yes. And what are you most looking forward to when it comes to the retreat and the session, and like what is the thing that you're excited about?
So, a few things. I'll have to go back to our earlier sentiment of
Mhm.
impact. If I could just impact one person, I would have considered my job well done, because that's something that maybe they didn't think about it before but they'll go back home, or maybe even there. I like a same day implementation too, and
Mhm.
say, okay, I'm going to put this into place right now so I can have a great rest of my year. Number two, connecting with beautiful baddies. I always love being able to connect with women, and you never know, it might be your next collaborator, it might be your next client, who knows? But
Mhm.
I just love being able to connect with women or business bestie, who knows? So
Yes.
that would be two. And then three, I've never been to Colorado, so I'm excited to explore the area. I've always wanted to go.
Yes, we are so excited to have you. And I also know that this will be your first year, one, speaking with us, but then two, attending the retreat. So, all of the OG baddies that have kind of been around with us the last 5 years, y'all make sure when you follow Avery, slide up in her DMs and let her know how excited you are to meet her in Colorado. Okay, so as we have gone on a journey thus far, and I always like to create a moment to give flowers where flowers are due when people can still smell them. And so I would love for you to name a baddie or baddies in your life that have been instrumental to you on your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay. I will try not to belabor the point, but first, shout out to my mom for laying the foundation. Again, probably wouldn't be here, doing what I do if it wasn't seeing her early on. Then I have to give a shout out to my business besties, Amber, Takia, and Ebony. So we have a little group and we meet regularly, talk about how we're doing in business, hold each other accountable. And I finally have a tribe. And so we encourage each other, we tell each other opportunities, we even do business together and make money together. So I have to give a shout out to them, my baddies, my besties.
Yes, I love that. So hopefully all of them are listening and grinning from ear to ear, and then smelling all of those flowers and just that appreciation that you have for them. It is incredible to have people in your corner. And if you're like, I don't have anyone in my corner, well, pull up to the retreat because you'll then have Avery and Malliron. Okay. Just know that there are people here that are going to support you every step of the way. So, Avery, I know that you said you have been in business since 2019. You said 2019, right? And then
For
this,
that business, yes.
okay,
We
for
still
that
talk about all
business.
the
Okay,
others.
you got other businesses. Okay, this particular business since 2019. This is your first year of being full time entrepreneur. So when you think about the next 2 to 3 years of your business, where do you hope to be, and how can the community of baddies and friends who are listening right now support you in getting there?
Good question. So, in the next 2 to 3 years, and I would say that's already in process with establishing the team, but I see myself doing less and less client delivery because I'm going to be training them to take over some of the things. And I'm just going to basically stick to more training, especially with the government entities and corporate entities, even though I will be self serving my clientele, but just expanding it a little bit more. So, that's one thing that I see. And then also, one of my goals, if we're talking about like self care, eventually I will take the whole month of December off instead of just 2 weeks. And then one of the things I will also implement is taking Fridays off. So having a 4 day week, but things are still getting done. And so, yeah, that's the strategic side and then the self care side.
I love all of those. And who knows, you might be able to accomplish that in the first 2 quarters of the year. Okay.
Hey,
But speaking
you
into
challenge
existence,
accepted.
speaking into existence. So, baddies and friends out there listening, we are in Avery's Corner and y'all know what to do. Okay. Y'all know what to do and activate to support Avery on this journey. And so, where can they find you if they are hoping to follow you? Where can they find you on social media?
Perfect. So you can find me at Black Women Moguls on Facebook and Instagram. And so again, I drop tips and resources, and you never know what giveaway I might do next. So you can follow me there and say hi. I don't bite.
Yes. And what about your website? Can you share
Oh,
your website?
yes, www.blackwomenmoguls.com.
And if you are listening to this episode on the day that it drops or the week of January 12th, 2026, you should head over to the Baddies with Business Instagram stories because you may see Avery's face and you get a little time with her, okay? But if you miss it, if you're listening to it a little later, head on over to Baddies with Business on Instagram and to our IG takeovers and check out all of the highlights from our incredible baddies that have done a story takeover. So, Avery, in closing, something we like to do around here, around these parts, is leave you with the final word in what we call the Baddie Benediction. So that can be a poem, that can be a quote, that can be some words of encouragement, that can be a song, wherever you want to take us. But it's like a good Southern Baptist, we close with the benediction. So, Avery, what is your Baddie Benediction you want to leave us with?
Okay, so I am at this point a broken record because I leave with the same words, but I feel like it rings true every time. And it's what I follow personally is that is to do it scared. There have been so many opportunities that I was like, ooh, I don't know if I should do that because I'm scared, or I don't know if they'll accept me, but they did. And that led to the next moment of catapulting me to something higher. So I would say do it scared. Our counterparts do it all the time. They might be underqualified, but they still go after it. And we often tend to be overqualified and hold ourselves back. So I would just encourage you to go after that next opportunity. No doesn't mean delayed. Denied does not mean delayed. It just means just not right now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Baddies with Business. It's been great to have you. I hope you've learned something and gained some new insight. Check out the show notes to find out more information about the featured baddie. Go give them a follow and continue to support Baddies with Business by visiting www.baddieswithbusiness.com. Also, you can follow Baddies with Business on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Baddies with Business. We look forward to hearing from you soon. If you want some behind the scenes and to check out the clips, consider being a Patreon. Information in the show notes. Thank you, and continue to be bad, be bold, and be a baddie.